guys were over there, obviously highly visible at that event, kind of soaking it all in, and whether it's block or anything else, what were your impressions?
Well, I mean, the story is crazy, and then you add in the hole-in-one on Sunday, and then the up and down on 18. Being a guy that hasn't really played in a tour event in a long time, I don't think he's ever made the cut, and to do it on such a grand stage. We've ran into each other a few times. Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club is not too far from where I live, so me and Kyle Allen, we golf there quite a bit, and Kyle's got a pretty good relationship with him. So we actually met him Friday after he made the cut and said hello to him and just congratulated him. And then obviously to finish top 15 to make it into next year's PGA is pretty sweet. And now he's getting invited to all the tournaments, so it's such a good story.
Josh, there were some reports that you wanted, I guess, Dalton Kincaid. You understood who he was. Adding to the offense could help you guys. You endorsed him as a draft pick. Let me put it that way. How much could you go into that as far as you knowing who he was and what he might be able to do if you guys could draft him?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Beane. It's no secret in terms of who I like. And it's purely based on like highlights and just watching some game film from these guys. And yeah, I was very excited to be able to work with him. And he's young, he's very talented, he's got a lot of room to grow. But his ceiling is very high, and we're excited to have him on our squad.
What was it that jumped out to you when you watched him? Even if it was just the highlights, what was
Yeah, I think it was fluidity, just in terms of how he moves, getting in and out of cuts, when he catches the ball, knifing up forward, and then you look at his catch radius. He makes some pretty unreal catches. So you throw that in with, again, being young to the game. Hasn't played that many years of football, so he's got a lot to learn, and he's very eager to learn. And to have Dawson and him paired up together, they do some things slightly different. But again, I think they're going to pair very well together.
Josh, this is kind of an X's and O's question to follow that, but what's your take, especially as the quarterback, on what dimension that really adds to the offense, the 12 personnel, all that? And we talked about slot receiver last year before Cole came back and all of that. How does that all fit together for you running this offense?
Well, I mean, I think that is yet to be seen. I think there's a lot of things that we're going to have to go through and figure out what best way to utilize all of our skill players. And Dorsey and the offensive staff will put together something where we can utilize our guys to the best of our abilities and to the best of their abilities. So I couldn't give you a complete answer on that. I guess time will tell with that.
Josh, happy belated, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Moop.
Year two, Dorsey's offense. How excited are you to involve year two with Dorsey?
I'm very excited. The meetings that we're having, the stuff that we're installing, schematically, we're not going to be too different, but I definitely think we're cleaning things up. And looking back on film last year, just myself, eyes being in the wrong spot sometimes, and making sure that I'm on the same page with the receivers, tight ends, and running backs, and the O-line for that matter. So I got to be an extension of him when I'm on the field, and utilizing this time to really develop that relationship and try to be in his mind as much as possible. And I got no doubt we'll get there.
I know it's very early. Some of those new pieces at receiver with Kincaid, Sherfield, Hardy, those guys. What's that like trying to? It's early yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's OTAs right now, so just really just kind of throwing it out there and just trying new things, putting guys in different spots, like I said, to figure out where they're going to help us out and what suits their game the best. Because again, when you put a guy to be his best, it's going to help the team to be our best. So just trying to figure that out and using this time to really do that. Guys are getting in and learning the playbook, and it's not a simple offense by any means. So guys are very prepared. We're going out there. They know their stuff, and these new guys are doing such a great job.
Josh, along those lines, do you notice anything different about Khalil Shakir going into year two?
Yeah, I mean, he knows his position. He knows the Z. He knows the X. He's gonna have a really good year, and I think utilizing him last year the way that we did, I have a lot of trust in him. I think he's only going to continue to grow in his role. And again, I'm not quite sure what that is and how it's going to look like for everybody, but the dude shows up every day with a smile on his face. He's ready to work. He works extremely hard, and our relationship on the field is growing. Just reading his body language and such. So I'm very excited about what he's showing right now and what he has to offer for this team.
Sean McDermott talked about sensing a new focus and determination from you. Where do you think he gets that, and what do you think he means by that?
I mean, I think just the talks that we've had and understanding each other, and I think it really kind of comes down to that, just the private talks that, we've had, and just the trust that we have in each other and the trust that we're going to have to continue to have in each other throughout this year and, throughout the years to come, because every year is going to be different highs and lows, different obstacles that we're going to have to face, and we're going to hit adversity at some point or another. So being like this and being as tight as possible so that we can stick to each other and with each other through everything, and just make sure that we have that relationship. If things do get tough, we can rely on each other.
And not to say that you didn't have focus and determination before in previous off seasons. Why is there maybe a heightened sense? Is it just getting a year older? Just the playoff defeats that have happened. I mean, and just that the experience, the experience of bitterness.
Yeah, it's an accumulation of things, I think. But to that point, just understanding our window, and I want to give everything that I have for as long as I play. And I'm not saying that I haven't done that in the past, but there's always new ways that I can find to get better, and not being complacent with what I'm doing on the field, understanding that there's a lot of plays that we left out there, and statistically, you look at it, we were top 3-4 offense in the league last year, and it wasn't good enough. So, just losing the playoffs isn't fun, and I so badly want to bring a Super Bowl here to Buffalo, and I just don't want anything to get in the way of allowing me to be the best quarterback that I can be for this team.
When you say some of those new things that you're always evolving in, what are tangible examples? Is it in film study? Is it in meetings? Where do you most concretely feel, here's an area where I'm more locked in?
Yeah, I think communicating to our playmakers, understanding where I want them and making sure that we're on the same page, film study for sure, and then just diving into our playbook, knowing it inside and out, and whether we got to simplify some things or add more stuff, talking with Dorsey, and again, just trying to be a part of his brain, and making sure that I'm doing that on the field. And just knowing the concepts as well as I can, knowing where my eyes should be, and understanding what the defense is trying to do and how to exploit, said defense.
I kind of saw an example of that on the field today. We kind of switched into the linebacker role with Dalton going through a route. How's that dynamic been with him thus far? Do you feel he's picking things up quickly?
Yeah, he's a very bright kid, and I'll say that for all of our playmakers, for that matter, just making sure, like I said, the communication piece has to be above and beyond what it's been, and I need to take more ownership in that, and that's what I'm trying to do. And sometimes it's hard for me because I'm a very relaxed guy that's like, hey, just get open and catch the ball, but being a little more structured and being able to rely sometimes on that fail-safe of these guys know where they're going to be, I know where they're going to be, because we've talked about it 100 times, and just making sure that there's two-way communication as well, and hearing what those guys have to say and being open to that as well.
How do you guys approach Stefon not being here? I mean, we talked about it before, this time of year, can't control those things, but as an offense, is there any benefits to it because maybe it gives reps to other guys?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about other reps, Trent Sherfield getting a lot of the Z reps and learning this offense. I've loved what I've seen from Trent so far. The dude works extremely hard. He's one of the hardest working guys on the team. Doesn't complain about anything. He's rolling right now, and I don't know if he would have gotten those reps without Steph. And obviously, this is voluntary. We'd love to have him here. I'd love to have him here. I understand that OTAs aren't for everybody, and again, it is voluntary at the end of the day. But some of the guys are getting a lot of good work, and maybe we wouldn't have gotten that if he is here right now. So I know those guys aren't taking that for granted.
I know you guys are both close with Christian Kirk. Did you have any relationship with him before he got here, or are you just getting to know him now?
Just really getting to know him. I'd gotten a text actually from Christian right before he signed. It was like, hey, here's Trent's number. So I gave him a call and just kind of talked about wanting to bring him here and what he could do for this team and what this team could help do for him. So, but he's freaking awesome. I love the guy already. He's, like I said, he's one of the hardest working guys that we have here, and as a quarterback, you love to see that.
Doc, can you talk about being communicative and is some of that just your experience and time in the NFL that you're not a young quarterback kind of learning chunks anymore, that you've absorbed so much and experienced so much you can kind of contribute a little bit?
Yeah, and I think you have to go sometimes through those lumps, through those trials and tribulations for guys to actually listen to what you have to say. And I think, as the quarterback, your word's always going to be a little heavier than most guys. But, again, you add the experience piece and how long I've been here, how long I've been in the same system. When I say something, those guys are listening. It does feel good, but at the same time, I need to know what I'm talking about. So I got to make sure that I'm dialed in, so when I am communicating with these guys that I'm saying the right things and explaining it in a way that they can understand it, because everyone learns a little bit differently. Some guys learn on the field, some guys want to be talking about it, some guys want to watch film. So just trying to break that down for every single guy.
This is a larger question, given that you guys won 13 games last year. Does it all feel like you guys are a little more under the radar this offseason? I know you don't seek to, you're probably hearing
I mean, to be honest, I don't know what people are saying about us. We're very internally motivated here in our organization, and it starts with Coach McDermott. So we've got high expectations, but no one's expectations will be higher than ours.
Last one. Sample size, but as he's more involved with the defensive play calling, do you guys feel any difference on the offense of I noticed he's doing this differently, or how is it impacting you?
Yeah, it's getting competitive out there. A little trash talking back and forth with Coach. So that's fun to see his competitive juices get flowing. And I'm not saying they wouldn't last year. He's a defensive guy, so that defense is always a special part of him. But I think even more so right now. But I am excited to see some of the things that he's going to do with RD, and I know our guys are excited too. Thank you guys.